Here's a 7-minute report that didn't bother to ask a single politician if they're willing to pass a law to increase the penalties for this crime.
All right, remember that old joke about Minnesota having 2 seasons of the year, winter and road construction? Now, there's no denying that the two are connected.
But there's another big problem. Tonight, the Fox 9 investigators, Jeff Ballion, goes undercover to reveal what's busting up roads and costing taxpayers millions.
This is a problem that's hidden in plain view. It goes on year-round, often right in front of us, and most of us don't have a clue it's happening. The next time your car needs a realignment, or you face an agonizing commute because the road's under repair, understand it's not just Minnesota's extreme weather.
Snow over the weekend led to travel bans.
That's punishing our pavement. There's a game of catch me if you can going on.
Then you wonder why we have potholes.
It's a clandestine sport played on asphalt and concrete.
Damage becomes much greater.
And it's leaving a trail of destruction across the state, estimated at $30 million a year.
So this is one of those things where everybody's aware of what's going on, but few people want to talk about it openly.
That's right. And that's why everybody's scared.
What kind of game has people worried about losing their jobs if they talk about it?
Now they said, keep your mouth shut or else you're going to get fired.
The Fox 9 investigators are going undercover to show you. We begin at a massive construction site in Eagan. Trucks are hauling away hundreds of tons of soil to make way for a new postal facility. By law, these rigs should weigh no more than 40 tons when they leave the property. Add extra pounds, and our roads and bridges take an extra pounding.
When you go overload, the small increases consume much more of the pavement life.
Even a legally loaded truck, according to MnDOT, causes as much wear and tear on a road as 8,000 cars. If you pack on more weight, you just speed up the damage and the need for a taxpayer-funded fix.
I gotta be between 2,000 or 3,000 pounds heavy.
This driver is leaving the post office site with an extra ton of dirt on board. If he gets caught by the state patrol, he could get fined several $100s. But he claims he's been told by the job foreman that if he wants to continue working, he shouldn't worry about how much weight he's hauling.
They just told me if I don't keep my mouth shut and haul the stuff heavy, that I'm going to be going home for the rest of the season.
He's one of a group of independent truckers who agreed to speak with the Fox 9 investigators as long as we don't identify them in this report. They all claim their trucks are overloaded far too often on this job for it to be an accident. One driver says he's taken some loads that were 10,000 pounds over the legal limit.
On one particular day, it was 50% of the day.
The drivers and state troopers tell us this is an all too common practice in the construction industry. Contractors can save money by moving more dirt with fewer trips. Some are willing to risk fines doing it.
It seems to happen all the time.
But we want to see some proof. So the Fox 9 investigators spent half a day riding along with one of the drivers.
Yeah, I know he loaded me heavy this time too. I know you went to the other one, he got loaded, he's always loading heavy.
A weight gauge in the truck's cab indicates the backhoe operator dumped too much soil into the trailer. The rig now weighs 82,000 pounds, illegal for the road, by a ton.
So they know exactly what they're doing.
Of the 4 trips we made, 3 of the loads were too heavy, illegal under state law.
No, that's not accidental in our eyes. When we're seeing overweight on a consistent basis like that.
Oh, what are you talking about?
When the driver complains about the extra weight, we hear the job foreman tell him that another 2,000 pounds, quote, isn't that bad when Bolander is paying the tickets. Bolander is the company in charge of the excavation project, and it's Bolander's employees who are loading the truck.
Well, last month I've been telling them not to get us lighter and lighter, and yet they keep on overloading us every day.
Other truckers we interviewed say they too are told not to be concerned about getting stopped by the patrol.
Don't worry about it, we'll pay for it. Just haul dirt.
So goes the game of catch me if you can.
The safety thing is my biggest issue.
The drivers also claim they're being pressured to get the dirt hauled within a certain time limit.
And if you don't make that time limit, you get kicked off the job too.
We were told some were actually speeding and running red lights to stay on schedule. So we followed some trucks to see for ourselves. The speed limit in this residential area is 45. That truck is pushing 60 as he pulls away from us. And watch what happens at this traffic light. Notice the left turn signal turns red before this truck is in the intersection. The driver turns anyway.
We've had frequent contact with them.
In the past 2 months,
What do you got on board?
the State Patrol has inspected 25 trucks leaving the Egan construction site. Nearly half were ticketed because they were anywhere from 3,000 to 8,000 pounds overweight.
They pay the fines, they just keep operating, and that's one of the ways that the folks look at it, is the cost of doing business. We'll pay the overweight tickets, and
Well, doesn't it seem kind of a joke almost?
well, and then they continue to operate until we come back again.
The president of Bolander, the company in charge of moving the dirt, declined to be interviewed on camera. He tells the Fox 9 investigators that we're certainly not telling people to be overloaded or to speed, and there's no time limit on trips. He did disclose that Bolander does pay the fines for trucks that are accidentally overloaded. But he says the company does not condone telling truckers to ignore weight restrictions. He says the person who made that comment works for a subcontractor which hires the drivers. He added that Bolander will look into what we uncovered. One thing is for certain. The State Patrol has its hands full trying to keep the problem of overloaded trucks in check.
So it becomes this revolving door concept.
And it's not just one company.
We see it over and over again.
Nobody can say for sure how many companies are involved, but this game of catch me if you can is causing considerable damage to the state's roads and bridges. One study places a price tag of $30 million a year on it, and that doesn't include the punishment to your car. This story, like many of our investigations, came from a tip. If there's something you want us to look into, drop us an email. Just go to our website, myfox9.com, and click on Investigators. I'm Jeff Ballion.